Hi guys, welcome to Teach Crest International. I'm your host Ruth Kerubo, and on today's video we'll be discussing how to handle rejection. How do you cultivate resilience in the face of rejection? Rejection. 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 Yeah, that is our today's topic. And before we continue, I want to sing a song that I have a race I must run. The victory is to be won. Give me power every hour to be true. There is a race I must run. The victory is to be won. Give me power every hour to be true. Right. So we need grace. Yeah. Because when you're running alone, it becomes a race. But when you're running with God, it becomes grace. So I'm praying for you to have grace when you're undergoing rejection. So I have my laptop there, so you'll be seeing like I'll be looking up. Yeah, so I said rejection is a preparation for the big yes. Yeah, I believe everyone has undergone rejection, maybe from a loved one. You know, that someone you've been crushing on, then you even ask them out, they rejected. You have got a job rejection. Maybe you applied for a scholarship, you got a rejection. Rejection, maybe even from your parents, rejection from your friends, and you know it can be horrible and devastating because simply it blocks you from seeing the wonderful gifts and great future that God has in store for you. Because you'll be like, maybe you missed a job, you'll be like, it's because okay, let me use my example. Right now the recruitment for teachers is ongoing, and you know they're using the criteria that the science teachers have 65 marks, technical teachers 40, language teachers 25, then the rest 5. So being a language teacher, I have 25. I'm likely to feel like it's unfair because someone who just graduated maybe this year 2024 is still ahead of me, yet, and is likely to be absorbed, yet have been here. I graduated in 2022 or finished my coursework in 2021. I'll feel the world is unfair. You know, we are going to 2025. That's like actually 3 years down the line, and you have not got absorbed to the Teachers Service Commission. So you'll start blaming the course, the people who even advised you to do that course. You'll be like, maybe if your parents were in a better position, you'll be doing something else. You know, you blame yourself or others for things that are even beyond you. Yeah. So another thing that I wrote is that rejection is painful and demoralizing. Imagine, like for me, there's a time I applied for a research assistance um, internship for the Central Bank of Kenya. You know, you can imagine like the emotional investment. You're like, yeah, I'm going to work with this CBK. I'm going to gain new skills. There's a good stipend. Then we did even the test, the aptitude test. It was so vigorous, and sometimes you could find like even there is no network. Literally, I even had to climb a tree, surely, and still they never gave any feedback. So it was really heartbreaking because I had an emotional attachment, and until now I've never got a closure, but I it is what it is. Maybe they just did it um for formality. Maybe they had others other people in mind, and I think that should stop. Literally, it's bad. So another thing I wrote is that rejection is inevitable. Yeah, it is bound to happen. It has happened. It will happen. It is happening. Yeah, rejection is happening. Yeah, and it is part of us. So we need to handle it with care, instead of maybe being in a situation where we want to take flight, we need to fight head on, because rejection will be there. It has been there. Yeah. So it is normal. It is normal, and it's actually what centralizes all of us. You realize even among the successful people, they have faced rejection. Someone like Jack Ma for Alibaba. Yeah, we have even children who are rejected by, let's say, their dead parents, and this could include both the fathers and mothers, but they use that as an impetus to success. So literally out of that pain, they really worked hard and they have improved their status. Another thing, rejection sucks. Yeah, I know, right? You open that email, you had high expectations. Like there's a time I applied a teaching vacancy in Nyakemincha Secondary. Even before that evening was over, I received a message from Zeraki that, yeah, we got your application, but we are sorry, we could not absorb you, blah blah blah. I felt bad. Yeah, it was really painful because you really wanted that job, and you're like, if I get it, okay. By then I had a key boyfriend around there, so I thought, the way we were making our plans in the head, and we're like brainstorming, so we'll be around, we'll be operating from our place, but I realized it was actually God's protection, because it came out clear once I done my driving test. Then he told me he had impregnated a girl within that period. That girl is the one who is known at home. Imagine, all along you've been with someone, things have literally blown out. You have introduced your child to him, the child has started bonding, you have told your mom about it. Yeah, and at some point even asked me, what happened? I thought you ever passed greetings, and we told you, yeah, you're of age, so we expected you, uh, and you've never raised. And I was like, it's a story for another day, but that's what happened. So it was God's redirection, and yeah, it is what it is. So we had to break up because of that. Yeah, because literally, if you can't respect me when we are in the relationship, you have another partner, we just leave you so that you can continue your themes, muendeleze maudhui. Yeah. So I realized it was God's way of protecting me. So, and that was in the physical realm. Sometimes you realize you could be rejected, and you might not realize it's God's protection. But when you ask God in prayer, you can even find a revelation, either in the physical realm or in a dream. Yeah. And I've seen that happening. So literally, rejection could be a way God's hand is gently moving you along towards your destiny. So after that rejection, I remember I was so frustrated, after tamarking, my shoes were torn. I posted in a teaching vacancy group, like, I did my best. Then you just find the people who are links, saying that they have the leads maybe to the ideal job that you're looking for. You find they're really after a relationship, and at that time you realize it's just a derailer, because the main agenda is that you want a job so that you can stabilize, pay your bills, uh, take your child to a good school, afford a better lifestyle. But here someone is introducing story about love, yet you're not even focusing there, you see. So yeah, I remember that happened. Thereafter, I just gave up. I stopped being desperate, even seeking for jobs. I said, enough is enough. I'm wasting time, printing. It's not cheap. Photocopying all your documents, transcripts, only to realize they will be trashed somewhere. All that effort, I stopped. And I remember at that time I enrolled for computer classes. Thereafter, through that networks, I got a direct job in Machakos. I started working, you see. So that's how like work started. Thereafter, due to unavoidable circumstances, I looked for work elsewhere in Malindi, and that's life has been, even right now when there is a reduced CBE, I was given my what do we call it, my exit letter. Yeah, the recommendation that yeah, we had to release her due to reduced job. I felt like relieved. I didn't even feel that bad. I was like, yeah, I tried my best and that is it. I have to accept fate. I can't start personalizing. That would be disservice to myself, because I realized that the very reasons that you think you're rejected are the reasons, the very even requirements that you need to be accepted elsewhere. Yeah, so you focus your energy elsewhere, and that's what is happening. So I realized right now, it's a time I'm reflecting on who I want to be. Do I want to be um build my career within the four corners of a classroom? Do I want to go for further studies? Those are questions. Do I want to go maybe into an international school and teach? So I'm trying to brainstorm, looking for better opportunities. So yeah, I've learned to appreciate um rejection. Yeah, another thing I wrote is that rejection is a gift towards self-actualization. And what do I mean? Through rejection, sometimes you realize some of the reasons you're rejected, partly you played a role. Maybe you were too uh, your proposal maybe was weak or what. Like there's a time in 2012 December, no, January 2013, yeah, before we joined high school. So I applied for a KCB scholarship. Unfortunately, I didn't get, but I realized when I was reflecting, I'd been coached what I was to say. Then, sindio, my mom is a teacher, yes, but I was told to say a P1 teacher. I don't know what a P1 teacher is. So when I was even being asked in the interview, what do I want to be when I grow up, I said an accountant. And they asked me why. I told them because I see people, the accountants, the way they are dressed in good suits as I go to school, and so I admire them. Yeah, that was my truth. But it's not convincing enough for someone to invest finances on them, yet they're limited. You understand? Yet there's someone who will come and they'll be like, maybe I want to be a doctor because I grew up maybe in a certain background. Maybe you saw your parent was sick or grandparent and a doctor saved them, and that's when you realized you wanted to be a doctor. You see, a very convincing story. But by then, my story was just so basic. So my proposal was weak. So I had to find ways. So right now, even when you find me, actually my principal, my ex-principal, can vouch for me. Yeah, vouch, vouch for me. And he can tell you, like, even when I came to the school and I was expectant, like I was answering questions like I'm a the brain the brainy girl that I am. Yeah, brain. Yeah, so I had a very convincing proposal that could not be denied, and that's how I landed the job. So it was a converting experience. You see, sometimes you could be even having the best CV, you're the best candidate for that, and you're not getting it. Yeah, so that happens. So rejection is a gift to self-actualization, because you realize when you reflect, you'll start working on yourself, on improving yourself till you reactualize yourself. Another thing is that rejection is a way to teach something new that will help you to attain your dream. Yeah, I don't need to say much about that, But we realized that there are many things I learned along the way. Sometimes when I review even the job applications I used to give, and maybe you don't even get responses, or you get rejections, I became stronger. I could look at them even right now, and I'm like, maybe and notice the mistakes I could do. Sometimes you could find you have literally some errors, grammatical errors, you have written the wrong dates. So it helped me, yeah, to be now more careful and learning something new, learning the language of the job. Yeah. Another thing, rejection is tough, especially when our hearts seek acceptance. When we apply, or we seek something, and we usually have a mind that we might get, but 90% you're like, I'm going to get this, but you might be rejected. So it can be tough when you want that acceptance and it's not happening. Another thing I wrote is that rejection is relative. you know uh, what I could consider rejection for someone else, they could be like, that's just, you are maybe overgeneralizing, or like you're blowing things out of proportion. Yeah. Maybe let's say you're a DM and you're being told, go and pick something, and people are eating. You might feel like that's a part of rejection. They should have left you while to eat with the rest. So everything that you see, maybe you have been told, go and shower outside as the rest, shower so that we hurry up, we go to church, like from a point of trying to save time. But you're like, mbona mimi si kupewa similar opportunities like the other person? You understand? So it is really relative. Yeah. Another thing, rejection is part of life. So after you've been rejected, life doesn't stop. Yeah. Obviously, for the first few minutes you'll be in shock. You'll be like, the world is ending. You feel like even you're crushed, but life must go on. Another thing is that rejection is part of success. Actually, how best would you appreciate success if you never had those downs? One of the reasons, for example, for me, I cherish my degree is because of the conditions and the circumstances that I did it. You've been rejected by your baby daddy, and you have gone back to school. Yeah, it's really hard trying to adjust, but finally you made it, through a good support system. Just focus, and yeah, God and everything fall into success. Like, literally, I appreciate the process, because I understand not everyone had that privilege of even getting back to class, or if they got back to class, they could have perhaps deferred a whole academic year or taken a semester off. But for me, like, life went on normally, just like any regular person. So we graduated the same lot as those who were in class. So yeah. Another thing I wrote is that rejection should be a push to better and seek better opportunities. In short, rejection should be a springboard to better opportunities. For example, you're dating, no, you want someone to date. You have asked them out and they have rejected you, especially for men. And now I'm speaking from experience, because I've ever found this guy, and he's I rejected him. Then 2 years later, he kept on pursuing. The old girls, we believe in, like, someone must put in effort, then you decide to reward that effort. Kumbe someone had bad intentions. He was on a revenge mission, because I had rejected him. And I felt like that was odd for a 30-year-old plus, really, and that you're seeking revenge because of you are being rejected. In any case, the world doesn't owe you anything. And you can imagine if, for example, you ask someone out and they said yes, even on the spot. How many people do you think in your mind have asked them out and they have said yes? Actually, that should even bother you. It should be even a red flag. So when someone says no, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It's not necessarily about you. Because like at that time when he asked me out, I was in another relationship. I was focused on my studies. I didn't want distractors. Yeah. Like on different paths. Yeah. And you don't know this person. You've just met them for the first time. So yeah. So you realize, actually, among the rules of manhood, I believe, is that you should respect someone's decision. If they said no, just accept. Yeah, don't take it personal. Another thing, rejection is a test of your conviction. Yeah. So why am I saying that? Because like there's I've been applying for the scholarships, the Hungary camp, for the second year, except last year because I was expectant. I was like, I don't want to apply anything, so literally I never applied anything. But the previous years there was the Thai Nini, the chevening you trying, then they don't come. But you realize it still tests your conviction. Are you still going to give up, or you're going to do something about it? Another thing is that rejection helps us to come to terms with our identity and purpose instead of compromise. Sometimes when you're like when I applied for the CBK, you realize, yeah, the research is kind of a transferable skill, but it was not literally in line with what I'm doing. That is another banking world, and I'm in the education industry. So they were two worlds apart, but anyway, you get to realize your purpose. It helps to serve to build character. Out of that pain, you realize how much you need to shed off, how much trauma you have, and that needs to be trimmed. Yeah. So what rejection is not? Rejection is not a sign that you aren't good enough. You could actually be good enough, but there are valid reasons as to why you have been rejected. And they could actually be not related to you directly. They are not linked even to you. Yeah, like for when I said no to that guy, it didn't mean that he was bad, he was what? No, it's the fact that I had other preoccupations. Yeah. Another thing is that rejection is not the end of the world. I've already said that. Rejection doesn't mean failure. You're not a failure. You're a winner. So you should always have a winning mindset, that you're going to make it no matter what. You're the best. Yeah, you keep affirming yourself. And it doesn't mean that you lacked resources and that's why you are rejected. Sometimes you could be having everything within your disposal. Like for example, for jobs, you have the TSC number, you have the good conduct, you have certificates, but still we know people who are jobless even without that. Yet there are people also who don't even have that TSC number, yet they know it's illegal to teach without it, and they have jobs. So kila mtu bahati yake. So yeah. Another thing, how to cope with rejection. One, take time to process the realities. Yes, slow down and accept the outcome. Yeah, you applied, you've received a rejection. Like there is the for the I think it was Hungaricum. Yeah, had received a waiver. No, had received admission to the university, but not on a full scholarship. It was partial. Yet I was looking around and I'm like, can my parents really afford it? Because I have siblings who are behind me. Besides that, have dependents. So how will it be? Even if I have a stipend and I send back home, it will not be enough. You understand? So you try to accept the realities and process it by knowing that no one owes you anything. The world doesn't owe you anything apart from respect. So it's up to you. You are the one who owes yourself something, so you have to press on. If it you are convicted that it is for you, you'll keep applying, but you change the approach this time round, right? Yeah. Another thing, accept the outcome calmly and mature. You have been rejected by that girl. Maybe you have even dated, and you thought that was the Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. Then they reject even your proposal. So yeah, you have to accept calmly and maturely. You can even ask for feedback so that you can know areas to improve. Yeah, I'm speaking now that as a person who has ever rejected someone. I gave them feedback because I believed they can be better. I believed in their abilities. So, and if they change, they're changing for the next person, not me and themselves. Yeah. Be yourselves and you'll attract the truest people. Yeah, be yourself. Yeah. Another thing that I wrote is ask for feedback on sincere reasons. Yeah, ask for feedback. For example, you have been rejected by, let's say, a school scholarship. um you should ask why. Maybe it was because you packaged poorly your proposal. Maybe there is limited space in the program. There are no relevant experience. You have no relevant experience or qualification. Yeah, like there's sometimes for the scholarship they need 2 years experience. Then you find you're still in campus. Yeah, you're allowed to apply, but you realize someone who has those 2 years experience has an upper hand over you. So that would be a reason. Sometimes it could be that you had a poor or a weak statement of purpose, and that's why I say involve the experts. You could be having weak recommendations. Yeah, especially those people who put their relatives. Come on, be professional. Engage corporate individuals, people who can vouch for you. Don't just put anyone there without even consulting. Sometimes you have even to go ahead and customize the recommendation how you will want them to speak for you in those rooms of opportunities. Another thing could be you have skills mismatch, and maybe there's limited funding, you had incomplete application. Those could be some of the reasons as to why you could be rejected. Sometimes maybe profiling. Maybe I know people who have even been rejected by the visa offices. Yeah, you had maybe a dream of the American dream, the Canadian dream, the UK. Then you find you don't get that visa. You have invested a lot financially, so you had high dreams, but maybe due to past experiencing they were profiling and they were like, people even with drugs, people from a certain country, so you miss that opportunity. So that is it. Sometimes maybe you're a seller and people reject your goods because either they are not affordable or they have a competitive choice in terms of a substitute, so they might not buy from you. So you need to accept that feedback and use it appropriately for change. Another thing is to change your approach. If you keep doing things the same way you did them yesterday, the results will be the same. So you need to come up with a winning game. Yeah. So maybe you identify the cause of rejection, you seek professional help. Maybe you had that CV and it's not converting, so you can go and seek maybe interview coaching from the professionals. Sometimes you have to change your attitude and perspective so that you don't personalize rejection. You can seek therapy. Yeah, do a life audit. Maybe you had friends and they have rejected you for various reasons. Maybe you no longer compatible for various reasons. maybe even academic levels, the kind of people you're dealing with. For example, for married individuals, even when they had the single friends, they're likely to start parting ways because you're thinking differently. And even your partner could tell you, Yule, I don't think you're gaining anything from them, so you have to do a life audit. Break ties with the people who don't serve you. Yeah, have a functional lineup of friends, right? Another thing, learn from that rejection. Maybe it was the way you have presented your work. You can decide to improve on it. The way you brand yourself could change. Yeah, that is it. Ingine, move on with optimism and perception that rejection, by giving your rejection, they did you a favor. Yeah, sometimes when you're rejected, it's actually a favor. You can imagine sometimes maybe someone has said yes, but they're not willing to commit. They would have rather said no from the word go, so that you don't invest in them. Yeah. Another thing, do not give up nor lose motivation. I know, as much as it's so painful, it's devastating to be rejected, you should not give up. Yeah, you keep moving. If it's that proposal, go take it. Propose to that person. Yeah, hit, eh? Give, shoot your shot, eh? Yeah, absolutely. SYS. So you shoot your shot instead of losing focus, because there's more in store for you. Actually, there's somewhere I used to read, and it was saying that most people give up when they're almost at the goalpost. You find you have been rejected. Then when you're almost there, maybe the following day, you find you died yesterday. Yeah, you had lost hope. So someone else takes that opportunity. So don't give up. Yeah. Another thing, be your own best friend. It's possible to even have self-rejection. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. You have self-talk, which is negative. And that will do you injustice, great injustice, because you'll be having even an imposter syndrome. Yeah. Yeah, so what you'll do is that you don't personalize rejection. You start telling yourself, they didn't reject me, they rejected my article, they rejected my proposal, they rejected this, not me as an individual. Another thing, okay, and you need to zip up the wagging tongues, the talk in your brain, the self-analysis that can lead even to paralysis. Am I good enough? No, just apply, go. Yeah, anything. In any case, what do you stand to lose? You did your best. Yeah. Another thing, appreciate your little effort. Try to practice self-motivation. Yeah, for every effort that you put in, cooler my friend. Yeah. Congratulate, pat yourself, and say you did a good job. Yeah. Another thing is consider alternative options through amendment. Maybe you have lost a scholarship, maybe it was full scholarship. You can look for the partial one. Maybe you have been like, I think you need to spread your nets. Like for me, for the KCB, I think instead of just have applied for the KCB scholarship, I could have even applied for the Wings to Fly. We had the Kenya government, the Ministry of Education, elimu scholarship. There are so many. Yeah, even for Family Bank, I believe. So I could have looked for options. To just don't concentrate there and say and keep fixated that I have been rejected, so you start engaging in a pity party. No, it's not time for pity. Yeah, you need to stand up for yourself. Another thing, feed on healthy content and affirm your abilities and gifts. So you need to talk to yourself, listen to stuff that encourage you, that uplift your soul, so that you don't feel downtrodden every time. Yeah. I know sometimes, like, I could even hear about CBK and I'm like, I just feel like I'm being pricked, eh? But you realize when you get triggered, it shows you the places that need to heal. So right now, even I hear about those things, don't feel anything, just there. Then another thing, adopt a growth mindset. Don't just stand there and say like, people don't want to accept me and this is the way I am. My friend, get up, rise, dust up yourself, and start improving yourself. Upgrade your skills. Maybe you didn't have, let's say, computer literacy. Enroll in a class. Go to a driving school. Get your driving license. You know, just have all the documents. Maybe you're applying for a scholarship. You didn't have the language test certificate. Enroll for that exams early. Get your passport ready. Get your documents ready, your recommendations, everything in preparation. Because for success, success doesn't just come on a silver platter. You have to work for it. So, yeah. Sometimes you have to polish your behavior. Maybe you are too rude. You need to polish up. Work on your soft skills, baby. Yeah. So you polish up. So it means like you have to accept areas of your weaknesses. Do a SWOT analysis. Your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities and threats, and work with that and see how life will improve. Another thing, build a structure to develop yourself. Okay, before I continue, like for here, if I want, for example, to go to an international school, it means, for example, I can enroll for an international baccalaureate. I can maybe get a certificate of child protection, because these are some of the things that are needed. You're preparing yourself for success. You're setting yourself up for success. It doesn't just come like that. You're setting the pace. Another thing, build a structure to develop yourself. For example, you are rejected for your scholarship or your master's thesis, your PhD thesis. Start publishing. Improve your research experience. Start adding value. Change your approach. Build a structure. Attend seminars, conferences. Get to learn. Yeah. Another thing, create principles. Yeah. For example, the principle of rejection is that the same reasons as to why you are rejected could be the same reasons why you could be accepted. So your uniqueness, what makes you stand out. Yeah. Another thing, know your worth and orient your energy elsewhere. Know you are enough and orient yourself towards it. Another thing, show up to showcase what you believe in. You have to wake up, dust up yourself, and show up. Success doesn't just happen. Like right now, as the recruitment is on, yeah, I know I have 25 marks, but I had to go and show up. I applied, and you go ahead. You just don't like sasa hata sini walimu tu wa sciences watapita. No, just do your part and God will do the rest. At least ikuondokee. Yeah. Another thing, play big. Don't do the small play. Yeah. Start grooving with people who can even change your scope. Start having proposals that are winning, accelerator speeches that can make you, maybe you're doing things like the Health Prize competition. So it means you have to play big. You have to maybe get your, how is it called, your specimens right, everything correct. Another thing, gratitude. When you're faced with rejection, it's so easy to start being ungrateful and forget the good things that are happening in your life. For example, when you receive a rejection, it's better than when they went mute. Yeah, it's good that at least you tried. It's good that you be grateful that you're alive, even to have seen that opportunity, because as at least someone noticed you somewhere, right? Yeah, so it's a win-win. Ingine, so learn to say thank you. yeah, you're being grateful. Yeah, you can even come up with a gratitude note, so that instead of just fixating on the rejection, you can get to look at the good things. Maybe you have a job that is running. As much as you have not landed your ideal job, you have something. You are not sleeping hungry. If it's that scholarship, you haven't aced it, but at least you have maybe a degree, a diploma, a certificate. You're not that badly off. Yeah, so learn to count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, say what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does your cross seem heavier than you were called to bear? Count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Okay? Count your blessings. Ingine, fix your eyes on Jesus. Sometimes when you face rejection, it's God who wants your attention. We live in a very noisy world, and it calls for rejection, the pain, so that you can even be, you remember, like Jonah in that belly of the fish. That is when he even remembered to pray. Yeah, someone is even in the den of lions. You pray. You were about to be thrown into fire. That is the time God wants to showcase even his greatness through you. So he's seeking your attention. Like for Jonah, he's told to go to Nineveh. He decides to go to Tarshish. You see? And the boat starts to sink because he had hidden, thinking God wouldn't see him. And finally, he had to go and deliver the message now in a more powerful manner. Yeah. So fix your eyes on Jesus and know that God wants to seek your attention. Another thing, it seeks your attentions. It needs more space. Yes. Another thing, open your heart to possibilities. Yeah, the fact that you were rejected last time, there's a possibility. If you reapply, you reamend, you could be accepted. Yeah, that's a possibility. Again, assess boundaries. Yeah, sometimes you're rejected, so you need to assess your boundaries, and even maybe it's that job you'd applied for, and you'll be like, now this is what I want in my ideal job. I want, maybe, okay, like for those companies that even go mute, they have done you a favor, because you can imagine if their level of communication is so low. It means even when you are there, if they even give you a yes and they don't communicate, how bad will it be? Perhaps you could not even get heard. So yeah, assess the boundaries. So no, maybe you have been rejected by that crushy. Start even having the ideal things, the checklist of what you want. Maybe you want someone who is honest, who is God fearing. Maybe they have a good financial muscle. They're just loving. You just start having boundaries so that you don't attract shitty and trashy kind of people, circumstances, and companies. Another thing, avoid the pity party and stop wearing rejection as a garment. Because when you start having sob stories, probably people will even be avoiding you. Yeah, so you need to have a what a way in which you phrase, yeah, it happened, but it's a gun case. Then you start embracing that rejection. Ingine, celebrate yourself, forgive yourself, and analyze your role. For example, sometimes you get rejected, Maybe because you're pushy, you're mean, you're desperate, you're difficult, you're self-centered. Like when I was an MLM practitioner for Smile with Care some few years back, I think sometimes people will not accept that proposal because they have past experiences which were not so nice. Maybe they have been scammed, or even the fact that maybe you're so pushy. Every day you are following up. That was one of the rules for affiliate. Okay, not affiliate, multi-level marketing, yeah, network marketing. So you find that you become so pushy. Someone is like, Ish, you're not giving me time to breathe. I know really what this is all about, but you're pushing me too far. Another thing that I wrote, I think we are getting close to the end. I say this, ask questions so that you can be in control of the conversation. Yeah, learn to ask questions so that you know why you didn't get it. Another thing, be true to yourself. Be honest whether that's what you wanted. And the moment you're true to yourself, altruism is the beginning of healing, growth, and resilience. Another thing, when you have been rejected, please don't insult people. Yeah, mtu amekukataa hapo ndio unaanza kumwambia unanuka, hata wewe si mrembo. Come on. But a few minutes ago, they were the best thing that you wanted. And another thing, embrace rejection so that you can develop a tough skin. And finally, believe in it is SW 4SW. This means some will, some won't, so what? Someone is waiting. Yeah, someone is believing in your dreams, in your abilities, in your project. So don't give up. Rejection is just for a moment. So some will, some won't, so what? Someone is waiting. That is the parting shot. Until next time, I've been your host, Ruth Kerubo. I know it has been a long video, but I enjoyed making this video. I've enjoyed making this video specifically for you, and I was inspired to write about this because there was this story of a JQuad student who had applied for a scholarship. They never got, then they hanged themselves. You know what? Life must go on. You should not have high expectation or have emotional investment to the extent that when you're rejected, you feel like I must take, like the only solution is doing a stupid thing as homicide. Come on. There is more to life. Smell the roses, smell the perfume. Take your coffee. So rejection is there. It's part of life. Embrace rejection. Even the face of resilience. Yeah. I'm not saying even in relationships there will be rejections, but life goes on. Yeah, you could even be having a deadbeat parent, but life goes on nevertheless. They just come along if they want to. What I've always believed, once you're rejected, don't force yourself. Kimbelembele ya nini? If it was meant to be, it will be. If people wanted to come into your life, for sure they will. Sooner or later, it doesn't matter. So there's no need to be so pushy. Yeah, you just accept rejection, move on, take it aggressively, and life goes on. Like for me, when I vied for the congress person, female congress person in the School of Education, we were 6 contestants, 6 or 7. Yeah, and I knew when we never won. I felt so bad because I was like, even the people when you're nakuja and they're asking you mkono mtupu urambwi, you buy for them KDF, sodas, milk, nini, only to have a handful of voters. It was really demoralizing. But one of my bloggers told me something. even the fact that at some point, people would blame you and they were like, we told you at least you could have joined hands with your competitor from the same tribe, or the lady who had won. And he told me, you have the dream and no one can share the dream with you. If you had that dream, you had your own manifestos, there's no way you can come and have a coalition sort of agreement, and maybe you just um, a partner by name, but even the office doesn't recognize you. The University Student Association don't recognize you. You know, paid for it. So is it really worth? Yeah, but in the end, by me, when I went there, yeah, I got to showcase myself, my leadership skills, and I'm happy to say that that's how I got some opportunities, like for having worked with a Bridge Networking Association as the logistics manager, a job I so much adore, especially making coffee every Thursday for people and seeing them enjoy. Yeah, doing the marketing, it gave me a platform. I started I think, I picked something. At the same time, I even got a slot as the female representative for Nyamira students, yeah, in the Jikosa, that is Mwanyagetinge student association. So you see, rejection is not that bad. It can be a positive thing. It can help you to grow, because if I hadn't gone out, I couldn't even have um, garnered those positions. So you have to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid of being rejected. Rejection will always be there, but you only have to change your perspective and perception about it. Until next time, been your host Ruth Kerubo. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Nawapenda sana sana. So niwaambie wimbo gani? Vumilia, sirudi nyuma, kaza mwendo, jipe moyo. Vumilia, sirudi nyuma, pambazuko liko karibu. Brethren, don't give up. Never give up. Jesus is coming. Just the right time. Just before dawn. Never give up. Jesus is coming. Never give up. The time just so near.